Hi, everyone. Welcome to the DMP Experience. Today, I'm really excited for this episode because we have kind of a full circle moment guest happening. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
Sure, yeah. Hello, guys. My name is Rayell and Guangorena.
My name is Peter Gonzalez.
I'm really excited to have these two on because I met Rayell through my IMP class this semester. And we got to learn a lot of really important things from him, from sound, and just the fact that working in the industry after UTEP is possible. Do you guys want to talk a little more about what you guys do?
Sure, yeah. As a team, we have our own production company, Empty Pockets Entertainment, and we met here, actually in this very same building, in 2011. And yeah, I mean,
we're getting old.
yeah, it's been a while. And I was really not so sure about what I was gonna do with my future. I was kind of like just coming from a music background, not really sure what to do. And of course, after dropping marching band and music school, I just kind of saw this class that was called Intro to Video Systems, and that's where I actually met Peter, where Peter was coming from. He was coming back from LA, and he kind of like knew a lot more, because he had all that experience in working for Telemundo for UPM. Was it?
I was at UPN, Fox, CBS, doing Dateline stuff, all that kind of stuff.
And then you did a short film, right?
I did a short film, and we were about to do these features, and we had a few shows on TV, but then I had a stroke, and I had to come down to El Paso, and I met him. I just wanted to get my brain back. I didn't want to do this anymore, but this guy came up and said, "Hey, man," I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
I was basically doing terrible, because we had this idea that it was just about doing short films for some reason. It was like, oh, we'll just do a short film. It's like, well, and we were just not doing great, like I said, we were doing this assignment for the class, and then we're just all over the place. Like we were crossing the 180 all the time. So that's why, just Peter was like, okay, I'll help you guys out, So we kind of like became this team, the brothers that they actually now live in Austin, the Gandara brothers. They actually still very active in the industry as well over there in Austin. And then so we had our group together, but then Peter and I, we just kept going here in El Paso. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I guess pedaling off of that, our professors always say networking is so important, and so it's so amazing to see a connection that's still lived like past the time of being at UTEP. Could you talk a little more about that, and I guess more key defining moments in building that relationship?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I've never been asked that.
I just do what he says. I'm just a yes man. So
right. We, like I said, right after UTEP, we kind of like have an idea that we wanted to do something, but then, like I said, everyone wanted to go and do shorts, and shorts just can get you so long, and it is a lot of work, so we had an idea that we should have started doing some pitching for television, and we did. We started doing this reality show pilots, and we did 3 of them, as a matter of fact, and one was very much almost close to be picked up by Discovery. It was about like this family of wrestlers, it was lucha libre stuff, and it was just a family of 7 that they were all just putting the show together and stuff like that. We were just following them and all that. It was quite the family, and I think that kind of like told us that, well, we might actually be doing something good, because the fact that we got the call from Discovery, and it was so close, we actually got a call one day, remember, and then they told us like we might actually have to fly to LA so you can sign the stuff, and do all that kind of stuff, and then one day they just said like, okay, we need to take a little bit of a step back and then just think about it for a second, and of course, it just didn't go through, but it just kept us going, we just have the idea of like, okay, maybe we're doing something right, and then we just need to going further with something.
We were on the precipice of actually succeeding, and they pulled it from us the last minute.
The last minute.
It's that sort of, we can't cuss on this one, but it was upsetting.
Yeah.
But as far as his relationships, we had the same thing here at UTEP. We garnered some like the brothers that he was talking about. We met some people, but the thing is that when you're in this situation, you got to find the right people, because people tend to, everyone wants to direct, everyone wants to be the chief. There's no Indians, and that's really hard. And people get jealous of certain things, and that's hard. It's just it's hard to navigate. So once you find that group, you try to keep them as keep them close, because it gets difficult at times, because everyone has their own vices, their own dreams, their own, path, and you just hope you find the right one. And usually you find them here when you're here in college, and then you find them at festivals. You find them. You just gotta start finding the right people. Finding people is easy. Finding the right people is hard.
Yeah, because there's a lot of come and go. There's a lot of people that are gonna be like, oh yeah, we'll support you, that kind of stuff. And even when there's money involved, because a lot of people think it's like, oh yeah, it's because we start with no payments and like low pay or stuff like that. But no, not necessarily. Like it's been even our experience that even when you pay and all that, it's just people sometimes it just doesn't work out sometimes. And it's also not just a labor thing, but it's also a creative effort. So sometimes it's just as simple as we don't have like the same ideas creatively, so it's just it just doesn't work out. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no movie can be solely made, a big one at least, by one man. It takes a whole team of people. So I can imagine that struggle that you guys had on your journey to finding the right people was just full of chaotic, full of chaotic people and things happening to you guys. But obviously, it worked out for the best, and now you have something premiering.
Yes.
Okay, now you finally have made this feature.
Right. Oh well, I think we haven't talked about that yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
we can transition to that.
do we just transition to it?
I did want to talk a little more about like your experience here, though. But I think
Sure,
let's
yeah,
come
yeah, I
back.
mean,
Let's
whatever,
come back
I mean,
around.
yeah,
Let's talk about the feature.
Yeah, the feature. So yeah, well, I mean, my background, I've been doing sound for 11 years now. So I right after, still working with Peter and then having our projects together, and we actually have a wrestling show. It's a live wrestling show.
Lucha Frontera.
Lucha Frontera.
You can look that up.
Yeah.
You can go to our shows. We
You guys
have
tape
one.
'em?
Yes,
Nice.
we film them. We were about to do they want us to do 24 shows. They want us to do but we just don't have time right now. Mm-hmm. But we still do the shows. Mm-hmm. If you want to go watch them, you're welcome to watch them.
Yeah, and we were also in live TV for a while. We were in Estrella TV and also in Televisa. So we were doing all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, on parallel, I work basically just movies, which I do sound for movies. So that's the background. Yeah, what was it? No, well, yeah. So what was it? In 2018 and 2017 and 2018, I work in these two documentaries. So I was working right after college. So actually, my last year of college, my GPA went totally low because I was just out there working and I was really not paying attention to the school because I was just so obsessed. I was just getting more sound gigs, which I was getting, So on 2017, it came this opportunity. There was a whole background about it because I'm a Mexican citizen. I'm not a U.S. citizen. So right after college, us international students, we have this thing that is called you need to go back home. So we get a chance to get an OPT, what is basically they give you a 1-year permit for you to try to find work or just basically try to do some practices, like labor practices. But then, of course, as a newly graduated student, it's practically impossible that some company will actually sponsor you, especially like as an international student, because it just takes a lot of time and money to actually go through the whole paperwork. So it's nearly impossible to actually get hired, like an actual job. So right after 2016, I have to actually leave the country. I moved to Mexico City because there was really nothing going on as far as film in Juarez. like I said, I can't even say El Paso anymore because I was not even allowed to be in El Paso. So I went to Mexico City, thinking that I was actually gonna build my career over there, and just not generally as a director. I was not even thinking about that yet, but as a sound mixer. The industry, it's huge over there, so it's just kind of like hard to actually start getting into it, you know. So I started doing commercials pretty fast. I actually started getting work, but then we had an earthquake, and some other stuff happened, you know. And Spirit might remember all that things that happened over there. But then luckily, I got called for a documentary in Juarez from a crew from Japan. So a crew from Japan actually came all the way to Juarez to actually do a documentary about this poet, and all that. And so I got the call back. So I left Mexico City for a while, and I just did that documentary. And then right after that, I got a call for another documentary. It was first it was still a proof of concept. From these guys from LA, random guys from LA, and they just called me and said like, "Hey, we're doing this and all that, right?" And eventually became huge. It became this documentary from Showtime that it premiered in the Toronto Film Festival. It was produced by Drake, by David Ayer, and it just became a whole thing. We actually got invited to do the red carpet over there at the Toronto and all that. So right after that, I kind of just kept going as a sound mixer, and there was also another documentary that I was kind of in between, and I was just taking part of whenever they were shooting in Juarez, I was taking part of on that side, and then Carlos Corral was taking part of the El Paso stuff. And that one also went really well. It's called Home and Away. It went to a premiere in Tribeca Film Festival. So all that kind of helped me out to just get a name up there. And then eventually I managed to do this process, which is an artist visa to come back into the United States and, you know, like just kind of like, you know, be in and out at least. So we managed to do that. And that was the whole thing, right?
I just riding on his coattails.
Were you there through the whole process, or did you guys come back together during that?
Well, life got in our way, but before I go there, he was my note taker here, and he was horrible. You know, I was trying to keep a 4.0, and he gives me. Well, anyway, that's another story. But as far as I also didn't like him, and he didn't like me. Yeah. So that was weird that we're together right now. I thought he thought I was under the impression that he was a Mr. Know-It-All. Yeah. So he sort of was. And then I don't know why he didn't like me, but anyway, we got together because of Professor. What's it? Yeah.
Mir.
Oh, Mir. Yeah, Mir too. Mm-hmm. Hey, Mir, what's up?
Yeah.
I don't know if he watches.
I hope he does.
You gave me a B, bro. What's up? Anyway.
4.0 got just.
Yeah, it went down.
I didn't care. I mean, I got C's, so it's fine.
Yeah, but as far, yeah, he was one of those guys that I just want to just pass, and I was like trying to get my brain back. I just wanted to know how to spell, but I went to UTEP.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, life got in the way because of immigration. That was an issue. So I lost him for a while, so we didn't get to get things done. Then he took off to Mexico. He started to cry when he left, right? No? Yeah. And then, so that was a tough one. And then COVID came. That screwed us up a little bit. So we fell behind. We started again. He wanted to do a movie. And I said, well, you know, let's do a short, because I don't really want to do shorts because shorts really, I mean, if you want to learn stuff, do shorts. I mean, you can still sell them. There's ways of selling them, but it's difficult. You know, they make you do a 10-year contract, and then, well, that's a whole different story. But anyway, I said, well, let's just do a short, and I'll do everything, and you direct. So just to see if I could still do it. So we did it, and we won an award, right?
Yeah. So we did. Actually right in the COVID, We did this short film. It's in Spanish. It's called Entre Mudos y Estatuas, which means between mutes and statues. It's this analogy of Jewish mom, Mexican Jewish mom, basically waiting to be rescued from in France. You know, during the evacuation of France right before the regime of the Reich. And basically they're just hiding in a house and waiting to be rescued, right? And it's this interaction between mom and daughter, pretending that they're playing a game before, you know, basically hide and seek before, you know, any of the Germans come and take them. We won an awards in Uruguay. We won best short film in Punta del Este, Uruguay. And then we went to Shorts Mexico, which is the biggest showcase of short films in Mexico.
So that boosted up my confidence because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. You know, I did during the day. We shot it with natural light. To me, it looked good, but you know, it's just my opinion. And then shooting with an 85, being able to focus, all the kind. You know, I just needed to get the rust off, and I think we succeeded. And I'm like, well, maybe we can do the film now.
So there was in 20 right before the COVID. There was this beautiful thing that happened in Chihuahua, in Juarez, that it became a law that it's this grant and funding program that basically every year there's they do 40 million pesos. They actually just they do that as a help to the arts, and it's just not film, but film is actually the one that applies the most for this grant. So you can do, you know, like paints and, you know, sculpture and all that kind of stuff. But film is the big one. So in 2020, they released this, and it was basically a way for you to get funding, you know. So at the beginning, it was, they give you, which in pesos, it's like around $25,000 for a short film, you know. So that's actually a good funding, you know. And so when the program started, I started applying to this. It's always hard to get public funding. It's really hard. It's really hard because there's a lot of fine prints that you need to do. Like you need to do this thing called a folder, right? And you have to actually do the breakdown of everything. And I mean everything as far as budget, as far as your days, as far as your even props and prep days, and of course you have to have a compelling script. I didn't get it the first 2 years. I thought I was really sure I was actually getting on the second year, but I didn't. There was a thing about the script that they say like, no, this script, it might be too offensive to someone, and I kind of like took it personal because it's like, well, I mean, you know, that's art. You know, it's not necessarily that it's if it's public funding, that's fine, but it's art comes first. You know. Anyway, so it's a lot of work to do these folders. It's a lot of work to actually get the breakdowns and all that. So I remember I told Peter, like, hey, if we're gonna do this again, I'm just gonna do it for a feature, because I'm doing all this work that it actually takes months. It's a lot, just to it is, just to get it ready for someone to actually check and see if you're actually gonna get the funding, right? So 2022 came in, and I just submitted a feature. I wrote it during in between movies. I was already doing movies, mostly in New Mexico. I did a couple of stuff in Miami and in LA, but I was mostly just doing film stuff in New Mexico, feature films overall. And there was one that came in, and it was kind of like in between that period because. I don't know if you guys know, but when you're working on an actual feature film, you really don't have a life, and that's actually true. I'm actually working in one right now, and I'm going right after here. I'm actually going back to that because we're shooting back tomorrow. So it is true because you work for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, but then during the meantime, I mean during the either the in or the out, you just basically go and get some food and go back to sleep because you need to do it again the next day. So you really just live for the movie during that period of time. And that's very true. And that actually thing that actually won't change, so that's something that I usually tell people, like, if you're actually going to be on a film set and you actually want to work film, you have to be prepared for that. It's a lot of time. As far as your personal life, it might actually affect it as well. I can't tell you how many birthdays I've missed, how many, all that kind of stuff.
All the sacrifices.
It is, and it is a lot. I have a 4-year-old niece, and I've just been on one of her birthdays. And that birthday, I was actually on call because we were actually prepping for the music of the movie. So it was kind of like happy birthday, and then I was like, like on the phone. So it is like that, unfortunately. So I don't see. Like you can see why there's a lot of divorces in the industry. It is very much like that. Anyway, so we prep for the whole process, but this time we had something that we didn't have in the past. So for these grants, you need to have a sponsor, and what it means is that you need to have a company that actually sponsors you to actually get that funding, because that funding comes from taxes. These taxes are supposed to go to the government, but instead of going into the government, they're put into this bag of money that is distinct to the films, right? But you actually physically need to go to these companies and ask for their tax money to put into that pot of money, right? And that's kind of hard, because you just, for instance, if you need a big company, who you knock, because it's just it's a corporation and you don't know who to talk to, who's the right person, so it's a lot of knocking on doors and then just see like who's actually the person that I need to talk to in order for this to happen, because you can be talking to someone and it's just a security guard, and he's like, oh, I don't know. So that happened during the previous process. This on 2022 it was different because we actually had the interest of an entrepreneur, which is a funeral director, a funeral house owner, and he was interested right from the beginning, because when I was telling him about the story, I told him, it's like, well, it's this kid that he's growing up in a funeral house, and like, it's like all the craziness that you can think of like a kid being in a funeral house. And then he just looked at me and was like, well, what do you mean? And it's like, well, yeah, like they pick him up on a hearse. And he was like, I was that kid when I was growing up. Because they actually pick him up on a hearse.
That's crazy.
Because his dad was the owner of the funeral house, and sometimes there was nothing available. And it's like, oh, I need to pick up the kid. Yeah. It's like, hey, just go and pick up the kid. And he will send some of his employees in a hearse to pick him up from school. Yeah. And that was it.
It's in the movie.
It's in the movie.
Wow. It's in the movie.
And then, of course, when we premiere, I'm jumping bridges. I'm going back and forth. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
But when we premiere, he was so happy about it. Because he was basically seeing a little bit of his childhood on screen, So yeah, and it was part of it, And then now I think we have this relationship with companies that they're like, okay, like, that's kind of like what you need to do, like to make a movie. Then, okay, I want to make mine now, like, so people want to have their own stories now, So that's great. I didn't even know what was the first question, but yeah, thanks.
That's okay. No, that was really good. I think you answered a lot of the questions like that because I wanted to know about like the grant process and even just like getting up to that point, because I know that you started with documentary. So it was nice to hear about that transition to feature filmmaking.
Well, the transition was, and it's kind of, I don't think it's sad. What do you think it will be sad? Is that a sad thing? I don't think so, no? Like, transition from documentary to fiction film. Well, I know what I did it. I don't know.
The transition?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the question? About the transition?
Well, I have the answer, but I don't know if you want to.
Go ahead.
All right.
I believe in
well,
you.
at least for my specific, I just don't want to speak about myself. I'm sorry. That's why.
I'm good. No.
So part of those documentaries that actually did really well, especially the one that went to Tribeca and the one that went to Toronto, and then there was another one that went to Sundance that I really don't like. But it's one of those things. Like, sometimes you pick your heart, because it's like, yeah, I have my credits as a sound mixer, head department. It's on a movie and a documentary that went to Sundance, but I don't like the story, you know, and I don't like the movie itself, and it's kind of sad sometimes. Sometimes I didn't put it in my resume because I just don't like it, you know. But it's kind of stupid because it went to Sundance, you know.
I think it's different when it's your documentary instead of working on someone's documentary. One's a job, and the other one's your passion, I guess.
But there's some. Well, don't get me wrong though. There's films that I'm really happy. That I'm actually. I'll talk about it in a second for another film that is coming. But in this particular documentary, I was tired. That's kind of like how I decided to start writing and start directing. I was just so tired of listening to people complain.
Yeah.
Because we were doing these documentaries about Juarez and about El Paso, and it was always the same narrative. It was always the same, like life is better over here. You know, the ones we live in Juarez are just like we struggle. We have this freaking terrible life. You know, like so. As a sound mixer, you just have to listen, and you can't say anything. And it just gets, you just get tired, you know, because you're like, I have so much to say, you know, but I mean, it's not my thing to say right now, you know, and you're interviewing these people that are, of course, they've been in difficult situations and all that, but it just gets so annoying at some point, you know, that it's like there's more to it, you know, like you just need to keep going, you know, like I said, when I at least from my experience, you know, when I was told like you can't stay in the States, you need to go back. I was like, well, I mean, there's stuff you can do, you know. It's not necessarily oh, it's done, you know. My life is over because I can't be in the United States, you know. It's totally not the case, and the best example is that you know that we actually got the grants from the Mexican government, not from the U.S. So to make this movie, anyway, so these movies were doing great. These movies were, I mean, like I said, Ready for War is on Showtime. It went to Toronto. It went to Camden, which is the biggest one in documentaries. You know, it's in New Jersey. It went to the AFI American Film Institute Festival, but they were just talking about Juarez like it was the worst place, like it was this freaking hell. You know that it was like, dude, if you go, you die. That's it. There's no two ways about that. You know, and when I went to Toronto, which it was this red carpet. It was beautiful, you know. Like we were just taking pictures, and Scarlett Johansson was just on our side, you know. It's like, and Leo DiCaprio was on the other theater, you know. It was actually happening real time. It was huge. It was big. But then when you get addressed by the press, like, so, they were telling me that you are one of the local ones in Juarez. Like, how are you feeling? Like, are you okay? Like, do you need help? You know, and you're just like, that's my hometown.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I live, and that's where my family is. What do you mean? You know, but then of course you see the movie and it's like, okay, yeah, I understand. Because it's just the way they put the narrative together. You know, there was a scene that is not supposed to be a scene because it's a documentary, but you do setups, right? It was his dad that he was deported, and her his daughters were actually going to Bowie High School, and they will just cross every weekend to see the dad. You know. They will live here in El Paso, and then the dad will just be by himself in an apartment in Juarez. It was kind of sad, but the guy was totally a champ. He was always with a positive attitude and all that. And their thing was playing basketball, just on the weekends, right? It was these twins. They were in high school, and the dad playing basketball. And I remember I was like, okay, let's play some ball. And then I remember the director, which is a great guy, you know, he's great. I mean, he's done a lot for me. He was actually nominated for an Oscar, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's been, with me, he's been great. You know, when I actually asked for a recommendation letter for my immigration process, he was like, here you go. So you got this stamp of an Oscar nominee, just, you know, like for your recommendation letter, which is amazing. But, you know, like he's from New York. You know, so he has a totally different view. And I remember he's like, hey, you're the local one, right? I was like, yes. They're going to play some basketball. It's like, yeah. I'm like, this is the place where they usually play. I'm like, yeah. No, it looks too beautiful. I'm like, what do you mean? No, we need that look. We need that different look. Like ratchet, ugly. I'm like, all right. You know, so that's what's putting out there, you know? So when you go to Tribeca, when you go to Toronto, that's what is. like this freaking ugly place when they're playing basketball, because we actually are putting that in the screen. So I was fed up, and that's when I wrote Lepes. That's when I started writing this script, because that was usually the interviews when we were in these film festivals. That was a question. It's like, so you live in Juarez? I'm so sorry. How do you feel? How is it? And I remember I just used to say, hey, well, my childhood was beautiful, and that was the thing. It was like I learned how to bike. I learned how to kiss, all that. And so I put it in the movie. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about a movie from Juarez, from the perspective of a kid that is growing up. Yeah, he has some issues with the family, like we all do, but it's just a kid. But he is a lovely person. He is surrounded by lovely people in a place that it just happens to be Juarez, and that was Lepes. Yeah.
We felt it was important that to show that Juarez has stories to tell, other than the immigration, other than the cartel, other than what he was just saying. We were getting tired of that. So it also represents El Paso because we're considered a sister city. I mean, we're technically, I think we're one. I mean, well, it used to be that way anyway. But I thought it was important for us to do that. I mean, we couldn't. I mean, we couldn't dismiss what happened because it's a period piece in the '90s, but we don't dwell on it. We leave it into interpretation. But the movie shows some growth there because, yeah, we were getting tired of that. We just wanted people to know that this, the city of Juarez is not what you think. Yeah, we had the same thing. Even when I'm watching movies, they always say, well, when something bad happens, they go, it happened down in El Paso, Texas, or it happened in Juarez. The cartel came out through El Paso, through Juarez. Yeah, that's not necessarily the case. But I mean, we can't dismiss it because it has happened. But we wanted to show something different, just life.
Yeah, life in general. Yeah.
I guess because I really resonate with all that. I mean, of course, being from here, crossing the border all the time, not just to Juarez, but also to New Mexico. I guess, firstly, I want to know more about Lepes, of course, a bit more of a summary, but also I feel like we tend to neglect the beauty of the places that we grow up in. I know that sometimes I'm like, oh, El Paso sucks. I hate it here.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But then I leave and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is beautiful and there's so many stories here and there's so much beauty. And so I want to hear more about that, like the inspirations of growing up in Juarez, the inspirations of just your culture and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's basically that, growing up in the '90s. Well, not so much in the '90s because I was kind of like around 8. So a lot of people were actually asking me if the movie's about me, which is not. I never grew up in a funeral house, thankfully. Which it wouldn't be bad if it was like under the situation that Pedro was,
There's some elements, right?
I mean, Guillermo del Toro says if you're not putting your own interpretation or life into a script, it's just basically an encyclopedia, which is true. It's impossible. There is a lot of elements of my childhood, of course. Especially because it's a '90s piece. There is a lot of elements from people that I met through the years that it's just basically stories that they share with me. A lot of Mr. Salvador Perches, that's his own childhood. Like I said, like the hearse, when, they pick him up on a hearse, like the fact that he actually slept right next to an embalming room,
They would eat food while they were
eat food there,
which was odd, but I guess normal.
Well, not even.
It's normal for them, right?
Well, now it's normal for me also because we spend so long. We spend so much time in the funeral house
Yeah.
that it just kind of like became our home as well. So we kind of understood that. It was crazy the things that we were doing. I mean, you can't even imagine. I mean, we're actually sleeping in the caskets because there was times that were like, okay, like we're on timeout. And people were just like, well, if I'm just gonna be on the floor, I'd just rather be in something comfortable, So hold yourself in the caskets and actually sleep inside them. We have a bunch of pictures and behind the scenes about that. But you get so comfortable at some point that
The quality made. They're good. They're good stuff. This is better than my bed.
Yeah, yeah, and there was also the decision of changing from your question that you were saying before. The decision, I think that the critical decision that came from me from switching from documentary to fiction was that, again, there was a lot of work here for documentary, especially in between El Paso and Juarez, but for me it became a little bit too dangerous. I was getting calls from documentaries that we were actually doing coverage for cartels, and I was getting calls of, hey, let's go to this place and we're gonna interview this guy. We're not supposed to know where we're going, or we are in this hotel. We're just waiting for someone to actually come, and yes, he is a member of the cartel. Or or sometimes we're just being in a room and waiting, and all of a sudden, like, we're just waiting in the room, but we can't leave the room. Why? And then this guy comes in, it's like, hey, how are you, and all that, and, like, saying hi to everyone. I prep the microphone, I get him ready and all that. And we're talking about soccer. And next thing you know, when we sit down for an interview, you see the frame and his face is covered, like, here, like with a shadow or something like that. And
Lighting,
yeah. And he just goes, yeah, I killed these people, blah, 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 blah. Like, so all the things you can think of, So, yeah, it got a little bit too dangerous. And so, yeah. So I was like, no, I don't think I want to do this, It's just, it's not fun. And especially like that, like I said, it was so tiring of just being part of that narrative, being part of that almost like money-making situation, because, yeah, you get paid a lot. But am I really doing something that is going to help my people, my city? No. So yeah, that's pretty much why I quit doing documentaries as far as sound. We're thinking about doing another documentary.
Yeah, we're
soon.
gonna do one.
But
No,
we
are.
Yeah, we are.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Can we talk a little more about that, or is that kind of closed doors right now?
Well, it's a little closed doors right now, but yeah.
We can talk about the two features that are coming after this, after Lepes. So yeah, because I think we can't stop right now.
We can talk about one of them.
Yeah, I
Not the
guess.
other.
But anyway, yeah.
We're working on another one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Well, we got two more, but we can talk about one, right? No?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Right
And-
now, or you go, Ruben. actually.
Sorry, just right quick. You mentioned Guillermo del Toro, so right off the bat, go ahead and mention your top movies. I'm not gonna say 3, 4, 5 because I love movies so much, and for people that love movies, I know that's also very difficult. So just go ahead and list off your favorite movie.
That one I can't really do that one.
Okay.
I have no idea.
That's all right.
For me, it's gonna be all Spanish films.
Okay.
I can always say my favorite movie is The Devil's Backbone, which is Guillermo del Toro's
Oh, yeah.
third movie.
That one's on my list.
I can also say that there's a movie that I love. It's called Infancia Clandestina, which is an Argentinian movie. That one. And which one? I'll probably say, if you want an English one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Thinking about it for a second, but I'll probably have to say.
You know, you do Citizen Kane or anything
No,
like that?
no. I need a.
Or Usual Suspects?
No, I mean, it's
Fight
good to
Club?
go back
No.
in time, but
Usual Suspect is current.
Yeah, no, that's
That one's legendary.
Usual Suspect?
Yeah.
That's crazy. The lineup in the prison? What?
I mean, yeah.
No?
Well, that's your then. Then you go.
Oh, no,
for
that's all I got.
Yeah, let me get back to
The
that.
Lion
that,
King?
the
What? Lion King? Don't you like Disney? No?
No,
Avengers?
but that's animation,
Yeah.
right?
That Disney
you like the
makes-
Avengers?
Yep.
No, I did.
I did. Yes, I did.
If the character arc at the Avengers, I think the last two, that's unbeatable.
Oh yeah.
The character arc. I
Mhm.
mean, the characters.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you can teach that in school.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you guys don't like CGI and all that kind of stuff, but the actual story arc, it's there. It's really good. You can.
I got it. Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, Jojo
yeah.
Rabbit's a good one.
That one's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taika's awesome.
Yes.
Did you like the show Casa de Papel?
Haven't had time to see it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
also another thing,
Okay.
working in film.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it. Yeah, I have any time. I mean, if we were really, for me, when I'm not working film, the only thing I want is to write.
Mhm.
I just want to go and keep writing. It's hard,
Mhm.
because sometimes you're just too tired. After the set.
Mhm.
So just need to sleep. But like for example, right now I have just 3 days left for this feature film I'm working on, and after that we're gonna do the whole premiere thing, and after that I'm just going back to the writing room. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Well, that was awesome hearing your guys' movies. Did you have any last things that you wanted to ask them?
I guess like pedaling off of the movie question, were there any specific, I guess it doesn't have to be film, but also like artistic inspirations that you pulled from for Lepes specifically?
Inspirations.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, for example, some of these movies that I actually, and that was actually, I was going to that, some of these movies that I mentioned, of course, they're big inspirations, but I managed to actually get some of those people that work in those films to help us with the post-production process of Lepes. Infancia Clandestina, that's an Argentinian film.
Mhm.
And I love this film so much because of the perspective. Of course, it's also the life of this kid. It's totally different setup than Lepes, because this happens in the 70s, and it's this kid, growing up during the Argentinian dictatorship and hiding.
Mhm.
But it was the sound design that I really, really love about this. And I was actually able to have the same sound designer of this movie in Lepes. We actually went to Buenos Aires and mixed in Atmos
Jeez.
in the studio.
Wow.
And
It's a beautiful country too.
yeah, I love.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I think I'm gonna do the sound design in Argentina like from now on. Like that's. I think we got a very good understanding, and his name is Fernando Soldevila, and with Fernando, I think we just got in sync, with what we were looking for. So one of the things that I'm really proud of Lepes is, of course, the sound,
And Luca.
and then we also have. Mr. Luca Ortega, which is a Latin Grammy nominee. He was also nominated for the Ariel Awards. You guys know what the Ariel is?
Yeah, we were learning
Mix-
about that in class.
The
actually.
Ariel
Yes.
is basically the Mexican
Mexican
Oscar. So
Oscars.
it's the Mexican
Okay.
Academy of Film.
Wow.
It's called the Ariel. So he was nominated for that as well. So he did the music, because he was also very much in sync with Juarez in the 90s, because he's actually from Juarez. He's been living in Mexico City for 20 years now. But he worked with Juan Gabriel for a long time. So he's just great, So he was so happy that he was the one that actually did the movie. I mean, the music for the movie. So we have. I mean, I can't just believe that the people we actually gather for the post-production process. We have Carmen del Toro, as the colorist.
Colorist.
Jeez.
Carmen del Toro is Benicio del Toro, sister.
Sister.
And I met her working in another feature film.
Wow.
It's called Olmo, and we just became good friends, because she was DIT, and I was telling her about it. Like, yeah, I just that movie is called Olmo. We shot that on November, and that was right after we finished Lepes. So we finished Lepes in September, and we got into the editing room, and then after that, I went to during October and November, I went to Olmo, which is also a big movie right now. I don't know if you guys been following the festival route. Olmo right now, it's one of the top movies in the festival run. It premiered in Berlin. That's where I actually saw Mickey 17.
Yeah.
So I was in Berlin with the whole crew of Olmo. The director is Fernando Emke, which is one of the Mexican top directors. He directed Temporada de Patos and Lake Tahoe. So highly awarded films, And right now it's on tour. It premiered in Berlinale. It just premiered in Toronto like a week ago. It's going to San Sebastian next week. It won in France Best Jury Award. It's going to Morelia Film Festival, which is Mexico's biggest film festival. and it's also going to Biarritz, which is another one in France. So it's just all over the place, you know. So
It was cool. She just called yesterday and said, "Let's start on the next one."
right.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, get your butt down here. She's in Puerto Rico right now, but she's ready to go.
Yeah. So the whole team, you know, like that, I brought some of that team from Olmo to Lepes, you know. It's like people were actually saying yes to this, you know, just because they actually loved the story, you know. They actually felt that the story was there for them, you know. So I'm just really grateful and happy that through the whole process of the film, you know, of course it doesn't come cheap as far as your time. It just takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. You want to quit.
You never have time or money. It's difficult. It's hard.
Yeah, that's also another thing I was gonna say. A lot of people think that we have money, like a lot.
There's no money. There's never money.
Not for, and especially not with a first time feature. You know,
You never have time.
Actually, we're in debt. I mean, we're not dying, you know, but we, you see what I'm saying? Like, you actually have to put money from your own pocket to actually complete some stuff. I wouldn't say this. Never put money for production.
Never use your own money.
Not for production, but sometimes when I'm talking about our own money, it's like we just, you know, sometimes you need to go to travel to do the promotions and stuff like that. Like, I'm going to Morelia Film Festival the next week or so, the next 2 weeks. And I mean, it's not like I'm actually getting paid to do that, you know what I'm saying? So it's something that you actually have to do yourself, to actually put the effort to go and talk and meet and greet people, just to, you can try to get your film somewhere, you know? It's part of it. So yeah, I feel like that's like the first misconception. A lot of people, it's like, oh, you're traveling everywhere, so you're loaded, right? It's like, I mean, I make my living, like I said, doing sound for films, and it's great. But yeah, like as a director, there's still not in that phase that, well, yeah, we are buying our own house, you know, with the money we're making with the movie, you know. I think eventually we'll get there, but of course it's a long way.
I need money just to be broke. Yeah. That's yeah. I have to put bubble gum on layaway, so it's tough.
Well, that was so awesome, you guys. Everything that you guys shared. Thank you guys so much for coming. Did you guys have any last info to share where they can watch your guys' movie?
Yeah, so Lepes actually is we're going for the theatrical run, but that's gonna happen on 2026. So I think this is your only and last chance to actually see it before it actually hits the theater.
UTEP students, at
right.
6 o'clock, we're having the red carpet at the Plaza Theater. 7 o'clock,
It's
the show begins.
Be there,
But-
be square.
It's going to be
27th of September.
Yeah.
busy. It's going to be busy. You got to get there early because there's some other festivals going on too as well. But if you get there at 6, you'll be able to see everyone do the red carpet and see if it, you know, just take pictures with us and talk to us.
Yeah,
and
we have,
everything.
and then we have Mr. Badia and Lolo coming, which is, you know, like, I don't know if you guys
Oh.
done the podcast. Leyendas
Oh my
Legendarias.
goodness.
So it's Mexican top. I mean,
Yes,
it's the number
they're-
one
they're gonna
podcast
be
in
there,
Mexico.
everybody.
We're gonna be there. They're gonna be with
Wow.
us
So take
because they're in the
Yes.
movie as well, you know.
Oh my
so
gosh.
yeah, so they're gonna be with us. Yeah, so it's pretty much gonna
Yeah,
be the
they're-
whole.
they're in the movie.
The whole cast and crew, and we're closing. We're closing the festival. We're the closing headliner. Please, I mean, it's something that I think it needed to happen. You know, at least I'm like I said, I'm very grateful, and because, you know, this is your film. You know, it's about here. It's about our people. It's about how we live, and yeah, I think it's something that people need to see it right here in our own house. Yeah. So yeah, what else? Yeah.
I mean, like it, hate it, love it.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
come see it.
That's another thing. Yeah, so it's either you like it, you hate it, but hey, it's a movie and it's out there, you know. And a lot of people, you need to actually stand your ground for that, you know. It's done, it's made, and it's real. So that's something a lot to say. You were saying something about Guillermo del Toro? I don't know.
Yeah, I loved Kronos. Kronos that was my first time watching it a couple weeks ago, and it was one of the best freaking movies I've seen all year. I can't believe that was his first
It's his
feature.
first one.
I mean, how do you even like think to? I don't know. It was so crazy. It was-
He's I mean, I know it kind of sounds kind of weird, but Guillermo's kind of like there's a podcast that I keep just playing. You know, like, I actually did that throughout the whole process of the movie, because you think the movie is actually gonna fall apart so many times, and actually it happened to us. even before I actually start shooting in the pre-production process, because there's a lot of bureaucracy that actually goes with it. When it comes to public funding, there's a lot of things that you need to sign, and if you don't go in time, and if you miss the deadline, you're done. If you know what I'm saying? So, and it's just cash flow. When you start, if you miss a deadline, you miss this much, or stuff. So it was something that I just it kept reminding me. It's like, okay, we just need to get put and keep going and keep going. By the time between when we got the grants all the way to by the time we ended, it was a 3-year process, and it was 2 years before that actually to do the whole writing process. Also speaking about Del Toro, he's been sort of course, my biggest motivation as a filmmaker. That's my favorite movie, Devil's Backbone. It's so close to my heart that I always wanted to work with someone from Devil's Backbone. And it was also in 2023 that I got another grant for a short film. And it was a period piece about the Spanish Civil War and the refugees that came into Mexico. And I really wanted a Spanish actor to play this Spanish character that I have on the script. So I rang Fernando Tielbe, which is the protagonist of Devil's Backbone. Wow. I rang his agent. And she totally ignored me, because like, who are you, dude? I mean, I don't know who you are, Mm-hmm. So, and of course they're in Spain, so there's weird hours that you need to call and all that. So maybe like at the third time, he was like, okay, what do you want? I was like, okay, I have this short film, I got some funding from this and blah, blah, blah. I want to offer this to Fernando Tielbe. Maybe he will like it. I don't know. And it's like, okay, here's a list of what you need in order for you to have Fernando on your show. And it was like 5-star hotel. You need to fly first class, all that kind of stuff, and his breaks and, like 6-hour breaks and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, all right, I get it. He's an actor, and he's been in these other movies. He's worked with Pedro Almodóvar and with Guillermo del Toro and all that. So I'm like, you must have some needs, right? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but send me the script and I'll send it to Fernando, and if he likes it, then we'll go with that. So I was like, all right, cool. And I never heard back from the agent. So probably 3 days later, I was like, okay, he doesn't like it. And then on the third day, I have a WhatsApp message, and I was like, hey, it's Fernando. I want to do the short film. Wow. I was like, hey, I don't have budget for a first class flight. I'm just telling you, we don't have a 5-star hotel here. And he was like, I love the story. I want to do it. I was like, oof. So we were there working with, Guillermo del Toro first kid in 2023, which is mind-blowing. It's still mind-blowing to me. And I still talk to Fernando almost every day. We are now very good friends,
He's a nice guy.
He's really nice. He's a member of the Spanish Film Academy. So we are on the sync process of we need to get this movie that eventually was a short film, but now we switch it into a proof of concept. We're not going to release a short film, which is a hard decision, but we think that this project has the possibility of being a feature film. So we're actually going to just go all the way to actually become a feature film. But then, that's a totally different thing when you have to do co-production with countries, which you can. But it's a long process, So now that we have a feature film on the books, we can actually apply for this thing. So that's kind of like the future looks like. So it's
tremendous.
Great.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope to get you guys back on someday. Yeah. It was really cool learning about your guys' process and everything you guys went through and your journey through now this moment, premiering your feature, Lepes. Lepes. What the heck? Where did that come from?
Yeah,
anyways,
it's from Argentina, actually.
Yeah.
That's in Argentina.
Lepes,
yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There you go.
Got it right.
Yeah.
You're already dubbing for us.
Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Before we finish off, we have one more thing that we want to give you guys. Just a parting gift from us in honor of your feature. Mm-hmm. It is...
It's a bucket.
It's a bucket. There's something inside the bucket. Just because your film has to do with children and growing up.
Oh my gosh.
We wanted to give you guys these. You can interchange them if you like the other color.
Oh, better, I love the furry. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Thanks.
Something to remember us by. But it was really great having you guys on, and I still have so many more questions,
Yes.
so I hope that eventually we can get you guys back because I would like to know more about that student experience here. But I'm so
Oh,
excited for
yeah.
Lepes. I'm so excited. I'm gonna see it next week because I'm going to the film festival.
Amazing.
At the time of recording this, you can still buy tickets. So definitely get your passes.
Yeah, and if you go to the box office, it's a lot cheaper because you don't have to do the fees
Service
for
charges.
Ticketmaster. So Ticketmaster has the fees, but box office, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's open Monday to Friday. So yeah, just $10. Yeah.
Wow.
Or a student, yeah, actually student discount. There's a student discount,
Yeah.
so I think it's like 7 or something.
Something like that.
Oh, it's worth going. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know, tell your professors to give you extra credit.
You
Hey,
can actually ask for
where-
extra
where-
credit. Yes,
where-
too. Yeah, we're actually gonna force Ramon and Mr.
Mir?
Mir and Valerie
Yes.
also. Yes, to give you extra credit.
Is
if you
Perez
actually
around
go.
here still? He'll do it too.
Perez too, maybe.
Frank
yeah.
Perez?
Frank Perez, yeah.
Yes.
He's
Frank
still around.
Perez,
All of them. Say,
and
hey,
Lama, he's still here.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, still Lama too. Okay, all
Oh
those
my
guys.
gosh.
Yes.
these guys were all my professors.
Yes, yes.
So,
I
tell
have a
them
couple
to-
of names too, but yeah, I'll remember. But yes,
Yeah, and then I'll in return I'll send him to do a class or something.
yes, and also just thank you, guys. By the way, I just also want to say I have because I work also like in a lot of in the New Mexico with the New Mexico film crews, and I usually get this thing that I probably I need to tell you guys, but a lot of the people, of course, like in the New Mexico film industry, they're of course from NMSU, from schools from Albuquerque or from Santa Fe. But every time I'm there, I always tell them like, no, I'm actually not from either one of them. I'm actually from UTEP, and there's nothing that's gonna actually. I'll never change that. There's no two times that I'm actually thinking I should have gone to another school. I will never change it. So yeah, it's possible. Please just keep going.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much, guys. Appreciate it.
With that, that is the DMP experience with, again, our two guests, Rayell and Peter. Thank you guys so much for being here. And of course,
Don't
their
stop
gifts.
making films.
Don't stop making films.
Don't worry about the gatekeepers. Just keep going. There's a lot of gatekeepers, man. Trust me. But you can persevere. Do it. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just like you did with this podcast. All right, we'll go.
Signing off. Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
See you next episode. Bye.